Good evening, good evening. A very warm welcome to this evening's Lumenswap Show. Myself and my bro Glow. How you doing, Glow?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm raring to go for a really exciting February. We've got what have we got left now on the rabbit auction? Are we now inside 2 days, isn't it now? Just coming down to 36 hours.
It's the final stretch. When it starts getting interesting, it's when the whales start coming in. It's when people really start bidding. A lot of people I know are reserved. They don't want to put their bids in until the last second, try to snipe out the cheap prices. But we'll see if that strategy works for them.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some. I think we're going to see some serious movement over the next few days. It's going to be interesting how many people are going to leave it to the last hour. Ritesh here has just put up. He's last day he's going to bid, and I think, I wasn't expecting there to be 8 million bids before the kind of last day. I thought most people are going to come in kind of last day, but it seems as though it's already going to be 8 million bids by the time we hit that. I think we're at 7.5. I'll have a look in a minute, but 7.5 million or something like that. So it's very, very close to the amount of tokens available that are already being bidding. So it's just going to be the movement of price then, isn't it?
Yeah, we're already seeing the exchange listings. I've seen 3 different exchanges. It's going to be listed off right off the bat. That doesn't always happen for a brand new project. So this is definitely something major, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I kind of feel like this is the missing piece of the puzzle that we've been waiting for. On the movie Avengers, how Thanos has that Infinity Glove. This is the last stone that we need to put on the Infinity Glove to bring everything together.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think that. Well, we saw with the pre-sale. I mean, what was it like? 23 minutes of 400,000. That's fast for $400,000 on Stellar. I mean, some Stellar, some projects on other networks, Ethereum or Avalanche and stuff. You expect maybe $500,000, $1 million to go quick on those sales, but Stellar, I never really thought we're going to see kind of going up towards $500,000 in that sort of speed. I thought maybe it might be a bit longer, and I think that really showed us the hunger that people have got for this rabbit. And like you said, this final stone. We know there's the tight partnership between Lumenswap and Rabbit. And I think when we get into this decentralized wallet on a mobile, I think you said perfectly yesterday or the day before, that's game over. As soon as we have that access on mobile devices, we are entering a new time, aren't we?
Well, I see it kind of like, whenever you get those new phones and they have the pre-installed apps, I see the Rabbit as having those pre-installed apps, except for it's all of the Lumenswap products. It's Drift Exchange, it's Interstellar, it's X-Star, it's Dogstar. All of these are going to be pre-installed apps that are going to be on there. All the most popular Stellar apps, you just go in one place, it's right there.
Yeah, and I think just in the last week, we've seen Lumenswap now with this almost, it's a feature that's used on MetaMask where your wallet automatically connects. So now when you go on Lumenswap, if you've got a Rabbit wallet, it will automatically try and connect and get you to put that password in. And I think, like you said, there's going to be a variety of different Stellar applications that are going to be used. I mean, we just saw it, I think 2 weeks ago, Brave was just using secret key, and then all of a sudden now, I mean, I spoke to Backcoder and said, hey, why don't you guys have X amount of other wallets? And he was like speaking to me about stuff, and then all of a sudden, hooray, it appeared. Rabbit wallet has appeared on Brave, so you can use Rabbit to connect with Brave. And then you can connect with their obviously liquidity pools, and I can see it as this as this connection method with loads of stuff that's going on Stellar. And I think all of us are going to be really excited about what happens. And of course, same reward structure as Lumenswap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you missed out on the Lumenswap original auction, which I know I did, I didn't get in until a few weeks after that auction. I'm like, damn, I really wish I would have gotten in it after seeing how many times it multiplied just off of the auction. And honestly, I think this is going to be bigger than the Lumenswap auction, because this is like investing in MetaMask. If you could invest in this, is the MetaMask of the Stellar network.
Yeah.
This right now, Lobster's having a whole bunch of issues. It's glitchy. Not all the transactions are going through, and it's just centralized. It doesn't. You go into it, and then the first thing they want is email and a password and all this stuff. It's just not a good user experience.
Yeah, I think that, I agree with you. From us that are experienced in the space, we don't want to be giving away, details unnecessarily, do we? We don't want to be giving away and even like some people say, well, just set up an email address that you don't really use. But then it's like attached to, obviously, your IP address, and there's so many, unless you're using a VPN, and there's so many levels of complexity that are going to attach you as a person to that wallet. And then, of course, if you're attached to that wallet, then there's lots of other, corporations and agencies that can be accessing that. So I think you've really got to you've got to be saying having the decentralized model for me is far better, but then the centralized is fine for people coming into the space the first time because they don't know any better, do they?
That's correct. I saw Lumenswap is right on the center stage, right on Times Square in the Big Apple. That's huge.
Yeah, well, it's the reason I put New York as the special word tonight. I think I was part of that conversation. Vlad kindly allowed me in on that conversation because some people are saying, "Is this CGI? Is this CGI? Is this fake?" And I know how much they paid for that. For that to happen, so I know that it's certainly not fake, and it did appear in Times Square to see, Lumenswap pushing the boundaries for Stellar, pushing out the Stellar, the whole ecosystem out into the big wide world. I mean, there's no greater marketing acreage than Times Square in the world. I mean, Piccadilly Circus is close in London, but that's a big ass place where lots and lots of people go, and they're like, what's this Lumenswap thing? Lottery and everything flashing up. I think it's a really cool move by them. It was, there's a gimmick to it, but also I think it's showing their intention, which is getting global audience to see what they're building.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely not easy. I know you have to go through a whole bunch of checks to even get on there. It costs a lot of money. So just to see them doing that for a community, to try to get new investors, just try to get the word out about Lumenswap, is huge. I definitely want to give a shout out to Vlad and all the other devs that made that happen.
Yeah, for sure. And there's Troy's saying here, these LPs on Lumenswap are another level, still learning, but we're investing in history, changing tech with opportunities. The little guy can get in on. Absolutely, mate. And I think that's something that, they're really, Lumenswap are really passionate about making something for the community, tools that you can use in correlation with Rabbit. So Rabbit being the wallet, the access point, and then Lumenswap accessing the Stellar DEX and these liquidity pools. They're really passionate about bringing all of the points of friction and the problems that we have at the moment and making solutions so that you and I and the regular guys on the street and girls on the street can be like, okay, right, we can access, we've got decentralized access to a wallet. We can access Lumenswap. We've got lottery, NFTs. We've got, these launch pads, as it is going to be with the auction. We're going to be having lending and borrowing and all this other stuff, cool stuff that's going to be going on. So you'll have to be able to have a choice of the actions that you want to do. And of course, liquidity pools are going to be one of these things. And we're in a market, we're in a downtrend. In a bull market, I reckon. That's my interpretation. I don't think the bull market is over. I think we're in a downtrend in a bull market. And because I think that the markets themselves are becoming longer time frames, so the cycle, in the market is becoming longer, I think this could mean that this downtrend is longer. Right? I mean, it's already been a couple of months where it hasn't really been doing anything. But I think we are far from over. I really do think we're far from over. And I think when we start looking at these liquidity pools and we start thinking LSP is like 4 cents or 4.5 cents, this could be a really, really good time to be loading up on a big bag of LSP with all of the things that are coming down the track in the future.
Yeah, I agree. Warren Buffett says, "Be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy," and that couldn't be more true. I mean, in this market, if you're patient, you're going to win in long run because the market takes the money from the people who are patient, who are impatient, gives it to people who are patient. So you need to find the projects like Lumenswap that actually have real value, that are building, that have world class devs that are bringing new products at a very consistent basis.
Yeah, Jack's put here, going on from what you're saying there. I mean, Jack's put Stellar owes Lumenswap a large debt of gratitude. I think, because it's trying to evolve historical pain points, and it's trying to innovate and evolve with historical one being obviously lack of liquidity, another one being lack of marketing, another one being given decentralized tools. And this guy, and they are front running. I don't know anyone. I don't know of any project, and I'm trying to look as open minded as I possibly can at this. I don't know of any other project on Stellar that is taking as many pain points and that is trying to take on maybe 5 and 6 different areas and create solutions in those. Maybe they are concentrating on one and maybe 2. But to concentrate on, multiple, I mean, to even be giving project managers and developers the opportunity of launching on Lumenswap, like Rabbit, Rabbit being the first one, but to be given an opportunity, I don't know anywhere else you can go on Stellar that's got a pre-built community, shows like this where it's going to be, we're highlighting all the cool things that are happening with Lumenswap, where they're backing, with their LSP tokens in terms of foundation. They can come and they can say, wow, we can actually launch into a pre-built ecosystem within the Stellarverse. Yep. And that, like us lot, we're all, excited about Rabbit. Look how successful Rabbit is turning into as the first auction. You imagine the next one coming down the tracks, everyone that's got a Lucy NFT, everyone that's in the 10K club, they're going to be getting another drop of this new one's tokens as well. What do you think just as looking at that as a, accelerator for these new Stellar projects? I mean, I think it's buzzing. What do you reckon?
1,000%. Lumenswap's definitely all inclusive. They definitely make it a level playing field. You see that with the lottery. You only have to have one Lumenswap as a ticket to get in. That's like 4 or 5 cents right now. You also see it with the auction. There's no minimum amount to get into the auction. And most of the times with these startup, especially something as big as Rabbit, it'll be all private investors that have to put up a lot of money. You don't see that with Lumenswap. We're giving everybody a chance to get in, no matter where you're at. You can put in a bid for just one Rabbit, and it could go through, and you could end up getting big off of just one Rabbit. But I would suggest getting as much as you can, at least over 1,000, so that way you can start getting the holder rewards, because those rewards are going to be nice in the beginning. If you can get a little bit more, get more to get into the liquidity pools, because those liquidity pools are going to be paying out a lot in the beginning.
It's another really, really good point that, the early bird is going to be catching the worm on rewards. Mm-hmm. And also, I think that, having this where you can have your Rabbit holders, but in the liquidity pools, if we see the liquidity pools and the Rabbit token increasing in price, and you're going to be getting paid out these on a monthly basis, then that could be a really clever strategy, in the liquidity pools. But I think it was Jack that said earlier in another thread, I can't remember which one, but he was talking about maybe just holding, right? I mean, you think about us that got involved in the pre-sale. We bought in at like 2 cents on the pre-sale, and Rabbit's not going to be 2 cents again. Mm-hmm. As simple as. It's not going to be 2 cents again. So we got in at a really good price, and then we're going to be getting them we could put them into liquidity pools when we're paid out our 5% every month. And it's almost like a cash machine, isn't it? But you think this is we're so excited, and we're strategizing the best way to do the Rabbit thing, This is just the first one.
Agree. Yeah, we're just getting started with this. Lumenswap hasn't even put out all their projects. When I look at this, and then I look at other projects on Avalanche that I'm looking at, a lot of these node projects with super high returns. Once the node and the DeFi community over there starts finding out about Stellar and the passive income opportunities, it's game over. I was in a XRP Twitter Spaces. And somebody came up and mentioned about the Stellar liquidity pools. Nobody had a clue that they even had AMMs or liquidity pools on Stellar, or the passive income you can get on it. And it's just crazy how early we are. Once regulations start coming in, once mass adoption, once big investors start coming in, we're already in the ship, which the waters are just going to rise from here.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. I think it's going to be almost like a perfect storm. I remember the film, and these kind of hurricanes and storms all kind of like met in this freak incident, out in the North Atlantic. And if you haven't watched it, by the way, it's a really good film, Perfect Storm. But yeah, I think we're going to be looking at the same thing, Perfect Storm. We're going to be having a place where projects can launch. We're going to be having Jack was saying here a few comments back, Lumenswap liquidity pools are some of the most stable they are. And people say, well, the token price has come down. It has. The whole market's come down. But what he's saying is the returns and the balance of that pool is staying at a real, even with the prices moving, it's staying really constant. Actually the amount of total value locked in those pools is very, very stable. And that's allowing you to then get some really good returns if you're putting your assets into there. Of course, there is the market fluctuations in price of tokens. Of course, that can create an impermanent loss. But generally speaking, compared to some, it's a lot less with Lumenswap. That's the point that he's making there. SKR has said there are 2 market listing news before the auction ends, Bitmart and Digifinex, and there is another one, let's not forget. There's 3 listings, right? So there's 3 listings. I'm just scraping my brain to think of the third one.
Was it Whitebit maybe? No.
So Digifinex, Bitmart, and who was the other one? It's someone answer me in the comments, help me out. Have a look on Rabbit's Twitter for me. And just see which one it is. I should know, but it's
Mexi.
That's it. Yeah, yep. Mexi. That's it.
How can you get that?
Yeah, exactly. Probably the biggest one of the 3 of them. We've forgotten that one. But yeah, so there's 3, and Glow's come up with a real key thing there that doesn't normally happen. Doesn't normally happen that you're going to get 3 exchange listings right on the back of the auction. Everything is almost this like perfect storm coming together. As you can see, all these little factors are coming in, and we're starting to see that. And of course, then Lumenswap have got that under their belt. Look at our stats on the first auction. Look at it sold out. It went for X amount of price. The price appreciated over a period of time. And then other projects are going to go, maybe we should go to Lumenswap and launch on Lumenswap because they've got a good track record. That then builds. People start coming into Lumenswap, as we've seen. We want to get Lucy's. We want to be in the 10K club. We want to be getting, the token and seeing what we can do with it. And that is just going to grow. The more, like you said, the more we see the regulation and centralized stuff happening and people coming into Stellar, the more then people are going to go, okay, what else has Stellar got to offer? Oh, wow, what's this beast that Lumenswap is? And it's just going to continue to just grow in stature and grow in power. I've got no doubt about that. We're going to be seeing some fantastic things. And I'm really excited. I mean, I know last week I centered a bit of a training around yield blocks and how the lending and the borrowing and all that sort of collateralized assets work. Let's not forget, Lumenswap are coming up with that too. Their own version of this.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting. Also, there's potential for a Lumenswap stablecoin as well. I mean, we got the smart contracts for turrets coming out. I can only imagine what these devs are planning out for that. The future's looking bright.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a great, when Vlad has said before, he's not overly keen on the turret system, purely for the fact that it's centralized, and they've done everything they can in their power to try and keep everything decentralized. But now Stellar are talking about smart contracts, and maybe these smart contracts are built into L1 protocol, like the automated market makers, like the SDEX. If the smart contracts are built in so that you can then essentially build into the Stellar network your product, and it's actually, ingrained. I don't know how that would work. There's a lot of thought to go into that. But if you can manipulate certain things so you can do your lending and borrowing, and it's all actually in-house on the network, woo, that's something that Aave, and that's something that, Sushi Swap and these other ones, they are built on top of these networks, these lending clients. They're not built into the network. If that did happen, and then Lumenswap could access it and could make some, this is a real big thing. And then we must ask ourselves a question: what would happen with the LSP asset? If we look at yield blocks, right, the YBX is integral in their lending and borrowing mechanism. So does that mean that LSP, and this, like you said, whether we had our own stable coin, for example, whether that would be ingrained into the lending and borrowing with Lumenswap? And if that is the case, what is going to be the value of that LSP asset down the road when we go into lending and borrowing, which if yield blocks pull this off and it starts to be big business, assets or liquidity is going to come into Stellar to take advantage of that. They're also going to find Lumenswap who are doing the same. We're going to be taking some of that liquidity too. Big things ahead.
Agreed. Yeah, the money's definitely going to stay in, and we've already seen that they were able. Stellar's the first ones to enable the AMMs into the layer 1. So it's only a matter of time before they figure out how to get smart contracts into the layer 1 protocol as well. So I have no doubt the minds that are behind Stellar, it's bound to happen.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time, and then it will. I mean, they've already said, for them to be coming forward now and say these are conversations that are happening, that's essentially saying this will be coming. We just need to kind of get everyone's take on the best way of doing it. And then I think you're into, look at the smart contract platform, which traditionally we immediately probably think of like the EVM chains, don't we? Ethereum being the front runners of that whole thing. And then the other chains that are interlinked with that EVM machine. We tend to think, but there's many with smart contracts. But then you think if Stellar come into that game too, liquidity pools, built-in DEX, smart contracts, and the cheapness and the speed and everything of the network, you start thinking this could be a big player over the next 5 to 10 years, a big player. I don't think there's any doubt that we know in terms of moving assets from one place to another. Most of us kind of go, shit, we've got to go from KuCoin to Binance or something. What are we going to do? XLM. We know that it's fast, don't we? We know it's cheap. We know it's fast. We know it's easy. We're not going to move Bitcoin from one to the other. We're not going to move Ethereum or Ether from one to the other. We're going to move that asset is going to change into XLM that one side, send an XLM on the Stellar network, convert back into whatever we want that other end, because we know it's great for that. But now we're going to see this increased utility, and I'm really excited about what is going to kind of flourish out of that.
Yeah, it's exciting. We know we got a beast of a system that otherwise we wouldn't be here. I mean, it's super fast, super cheap, and it works. The NFT marketplace is amazing. The whole community is growing. I see it on a weekly basis. There's more and more new faces coming into the Stellar community, and there's new projects coming in too. People want to build on this network because it's easy to build on, it's fast, and it's cheap, and it's a beast waiting to happen.
Yeah, I'm keep nodding and saying I agree, and yeah, I'm singing exactly the same hymn. Trey has just the trillionaire has just bought his first LSP tokens on Bitmart today. Yeah, I mean, centralized exchanges are one way of going, but also, I mean, the SDEX is the best. I mean, using Lumenswap, connecting directly into the SDEX and just swapping. I mean, I find that for me, with a Rabbit wallet, connecting with Lumenswap, swapping assets is a really cool way of going about it as well. If you don't already do that, I think setting up your Rabbit wallet and doing all the stuff, then swapping assets with Lumenswap, for me, it's super simple, super easy. You know, you can go from a variety of different verified assets and also adding custom assets there. So try that, Trey, as well. It's a great option for you. Got to get to that 10K plus LSP Rewards Club SpongeBob Stella Pants. Great name. Love it. Yeah, I think that now's the cheapest opportunity in a hell of a long time. Is it $450? Gets you into like the 10K club now. For me, it's a no-brainer. $450. You're going to get airdrop different tokens from the auction platform and from the projects that get launched. You're going to get your monthly holding rewards for $450 now. Pretty solid place to put your assets, I would say, and not financial advice, of course. I've quietly been stacking some LSP back up here lately, nowhere near 10K yet, but slowly, surely I will. Yeah, I think it's one of them, isn't it? You can make a mission to get that. You know, I said to a lot of people back at the start, and believe it or not, it was, I think, 2 days ago now, because we're on the 30th, right? Yeah. So 28th was 6 months since LSP asset was launched. So this is like the 6-month anniversary LSP show, right? 6 months and 2 days old now, LSP asset. And I think that loads of people that have been involved in it have seen its strength and the strength of the development with Lumenswap in that 6 months. I don't think any of us feel let down by development. I think we're all really happy, and that will continue throughout the whole of 2022. I wanted to bring up a point. I think it was Jack. Yes. He said this question. It's nice they use pre-sale. So he's talking about Rabbit now. It's nice that they use pre-sale revenues money rather than the token sales to get on these exchanges. I quite agree. That $400,000 that was raised, you know, in the pre-sale that we all bought into Rabbit with, you know, at that point, as then utilizing and paying these centralized exchange listings. And everyone wants to see centralized exchanges at the start because it helps to get onto CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, and so on and so forth, these other analytic tools. Right, so we want to see it, but we want it to be done the right way. And I think Rabbit have learned from Lumenswap, and they're doing it the right way. A slight different way to Lumenswap, but they're doing it the right way. And I'm happy that those funds are being used. What about you, Glo?
I agree. I think they picked 3 really good exchanges to list on. There's some exchanges that I wouldn't list on. I think they definitely learned from Lumenswap and how they went about it, not just trying to list on every exchange possible, but go into the reputable ones, the ones people actually use.
Yeah, I think that, well, we had a lot of fun with that candy box. I wonder if they would do a candy box again, you know, where we lock down our assets for like those different time periods to be getting those interests. I remember back in, that seems like with DigiFinex, it seems like years ago, doesn't it? We were doing that, but it wasn't that long ago. In fact, it was only several months ago.
Probably in crypto years.
Yeah, exactly.
It's earlier on
absolutely crazy. Props to LSP developers, Lumenswap sites, so clean and easy to use. I've used Lobster and StellarX, but find Lumenswap the easiest. So that's from Chanclan 1. Yeah, I mean, I think we're all in agreement that they just went, we want it to be simple. We want to onboard as many people. You can add layers of complexity to things and it just loses people. I think with Lumenswap, they keep saying, how can we make this easy to understand? How can we make it nice and simple to use? And let's not forget, there is going to be all of the website and everything is all going to be restructured, rebranded. Lumenswap have got that on their in their focus, on their roadmap, that they're going to be making all of this even more beautiful, right? Yeah. So the website is going to be cleaner. We're going to be cleaning all that up, and it's going to be a whole new launch of that. And I think that will then, when all of the tools or most of the tools are in, when you do that kind of thing, people go, holy shit, look how amazing this looks now. It's not just how clean and simple, it's got that like lovely style to it. So that's going to be coming down the track as well. And I think that, well, I'm certainly very excited to see how that's going to look. I want to talk about, let's just have a quick screen share and have a look at the Rabbit auction. How are we getting on with the Rabbit? I just wanted to kind of see how close we are now. Yeah, we're right underneath. Let's just share this up. Let's have a look here. Let's try and find it. Here we go. I finally found it. Well, let's make sure that we can see it. Yeah, cool. Okay. I just wanted to, I've done got 38 people. Keep writing New York, guys. If you haven't written New York, write New York down because you're going to win 1,000. One of you is going to win 1,000 LSP tonight. And I want you to be successful. So let's have a look. Where are we? We're screen sharing here. Okay. So I did a video early in the week explaining how to do live bids. And I'm going to just refresh your memory on how to do this because we're coming to a critical point. So what we must do is we must first of all understand what we're looking at. If we go onto Lumenswap.io, we can select different clients, and the auction, the auction client is at the bottom. There's a little flame next to it, and it says, new. We can click onto that, and then we will be able to click onto the board, and it will say auction board. When we click onto the auction board, this is what we're presented with. We're presented with what we've got, like a bar chart, and we're presented with some information on bids. Okay. What we've got to understand here is this number, the number of bids, shows total amount of bids. If we just reverse that into Rabbit, we can see we're now at 7.655 million, right? Rabbit. This is the amount to sell, 8 million. Now, one of the untruths that's been circulating is, oh, it's nearly sold out. Okay, I need you to understand it doesn't sell out. It's not a fixed amount for sale. Oh, this is just bids. This is limit orders. This is just open orders wanting to buy part of these 8 million, right? And these people are bidding different prices. What you're going to see over the next couple of days is you're going to see these bars that we can see moving to the right. So this means that at the minute, we have a total, right? A total of 7,655,000. So if you put your cursor at this top position here, this will tell you how many bids there are. This, then as you go across, is telling you at these different levels, look, there's 26,000 up to this price point of 0.42. And then we come here, there's 500 or just over 500,000 at 0.315 back to 0.21. This represents a price scale, right, up to this point. So that's how many are in this price point. This is how many, this many is how many is in at the base price of 0.21. So you can see, and then there's these, and then there's these, right? So as more bids come in, we will hit the cap of 8 million Rabbit. Then what you have to do is you have to decide, are you sticking or are you twisting? Meaning, are you staying and thinking you're going to get lucky at this bottom level, or are you moving your price upwards slightly? And as we see these change, so we will see different amounts at different levels across here, right? Do you have to say, do I think that I'm going to get fortunate in this auction? And the way to kind of differentiate or to try and understand this is if you go from this side, the right side, and we start counting 8 million to the left, right? You will find there's going to be a point when you've counted at 1 million and 2 million, 3 million and 4 million, 7 million and 1 million is 8 million, right? 8 million. This is now my line, and it might be 0.63 XLM. Yeah, where my cursor is there. That might be where you've counted from right to left 8 million. So you know the bottom accepted price is 0.63 XLM. You will not be able to buy any Rabbit if you've got 0.62, 0.6, 0.55, 0.45. And I'm saying it might not be this high. Okay, so ignore this. It's just an example. But I'm saying this is how to work it out. You go from this side across from right to left, add up until you get to 8 million. When you get to 8 million, you know that is the bottom price. Now, lots of people with the Lumenswap auction buggered this up. And it wasn't Lumenswap's fault. It was their fault. It was their problem because they hadn't thought about it. As soon as you know what the bottom price is, you can take the gamble and think that bottom price is going to get me my tokens, or you can come slightly to the right of it. And if you come slightly to the right, that means you're bidding at a higher price per token. If you bid at a higher price per token here, right, then you've got more likelihood of getting your tokens. But what you must understand is this: everyone in their own mind is going to have a top price they want to pay. Tonight, if we are at, say, 1, so somewhere here, if we're at 1 XLM, we know it's roughly 20 cents, right? So 20 cents per token, right? If we're here, when we might go, well, we ain't paying no more for a rabbit token or RBT token than half an XLM, 10 cents. So your bid, maximum bid, would be around here, right? 0.5. You wouldn't pay any more because you don't value it anymore. What you don't want to do is get the FOMO and start paying more for something than what is actually you value it at, you as an investor. So I just hope, I'm going to go back to questions that might have popped up here.
Yeah. And in the rabbit chat, there was a lot of people worried about like the timestamps. I think that's probably the last thing you have to worry about, because you can just bid one stroop above somebody else and your bids are going to be filled before the person, even if it's a whale, even if they put in a big one, big order. If you're just one stroop above them, then your bid's going through before they do. And there's a lot of bids at the minimum 0.21. I don't see any of them getting filled.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think either. I think it's going to start moving to it's going to be really interesting over the next 30. As soon as we hit 8 million, the move's going to happen. At the minute, you can bid any price and it's, it's fine. But then as soon as you get to 8 million, we know that there's enough bids to take all of those 8 million tokens. So then people are going to say, well, I'm not bidding low. I'm not bidding lowest because there's already 8 million in. I need to bid slightly higher. And then you're going to start seeing this progressive movement across in slightly higher bids. People are going to be watching, oh, damn, that one's now the bottom price. That last bid I put in, take the bid off, new bid, move it up a scale. And you're going to see this kind of hopping of bids moving to the right-hand side. It's going to be quite interesting for us to watch. Simple Potato, how can Lumenswap website get? How simple can it get? I don't think it's going to be a simplicity thing. I think it's going to be just a little bit of an edgier branding, a little bit of just a nicer look. I think if we were to go to, for example, Dogstar, do it brilliantly, really clever, where you look at it and think, oh, it's so nice. I actually like being on this website. It's so nice. They've got like a really kind of that nice blue and a bit of silver in it. And it's just, and I think Lumenswap just, that when you first arrive on lumenswap.io, it just feels that little dated now, don't you think? I do. I think they could really do something really cool. So it's not a simplicity of the tools. It's just when you go on there, you think this is the dog's nuts. Do you know what I mean? This is absolutely spot on. It now reflects, the website reflects the tools. Simple, lovely to look at, easy to use. Everything's on a winning basis. So I think that's kind of what they're going to do.
For me, the whites and the blues remind me a little bit of too much of a Coinbase-esque environment. If we want to differentiate ourselves from the central exchanges. So I think this revamp is going to be a much needed update for Lumenswap.
I've got to say a big shout out to Enterprise Sports Cards. You're the dude that always trolls my YouTube videos. So I want to say a big high five to you. Yeah, I think it's fascinating fascinating to always read your comments. You're saying, I'm shilling this and shilling that. I'll always, and I think people that know me will always say, I'll always back any stellar project at all. It can be Dogstar, yeah, and what we would call a meme coin. It can be Drift Exchange. It can be Rabbit, Lumenswap. If they come to me and say, "Bam, will you give us a bit of a heads up?" I will always try and support everyone on the Stellar network, right? I mean, someone messaged me this morning. JPEG DAO have got this new educational set of trainings coming from Noor, from Sir Cheesley, some of the best artists, etc. out there. And they said, will you give them absolute? Of course I'll give them a shot. Am I in any way involved? No, I'm not involved. They asked me to come into a committee. I haven't done anything with JPEG DAO for a good number of months, but I'm giving them that plug, right? That I've just given them. And I'll do the same with any project across the Stellarverse. If I like it, if I really like the project, I'll put my name behind it. So I'm going to be a big investor. I'm a huge investor in Dogstar for one. I looked at it. I never buy a meme, ever buy a meme coin, ever. It's not my bag. My wife buys them, I don't. But I bought a massive bag. A huge bag of Dogstar. And I was like, why are you doing this, you crazy bastard? Buying into a meme, because I looked under the hood and I saw more than a meme coin, right? So for me, I will always put my money where my mouth is for one, but I'll always back, because I want to see unity and I want to see these different various projects, Nuna, JPEG, Drift, Lumenswap, Rabbit. I could go on and on and on, right? I want to see these projects succeed, because if they succeed, it promotes the whole network, and that's something that needs to happen. So thank you. Carry on, by the way. Every time I do a video, put your little troll comment underneath, and I'll always be polite and reply back to you. It's great to have you on board with us. I know he's put here, we love you, Ben, just keeping you honest. Well, yeah, I wanted to say that to all the community, but I think anyone that knows me will know. You know, if you had integrity at your core, and you were honestly trying to raise awareness and education in stellar projects, and potentially good ones, right? Then I know that you would do exactly the same. Go on, mate.
To me, there's a difference between education and shilling. Shilling would be to shout out these meme tokens that are not going to be anything. But if you're educating people on projects that are trying to make a difference on the Stellar network, I see a big difference in that. I know you probably feel the same way as I do, but with my integrity, I wouldn't put my face, my name behind something if I didn't wholeheartedly believe in it. So
yeah, I think and it's another thing. I mean, we've been toying with this, just to flip the conversation. We've been toying with having a community manager, someone like Bull Runner. You know, the Bull Runner is the main man in terms of community managers on Stellar. I don't think anyone's going to disagree. You know, he's doing a fantastic job with Lumenswap, always supportive, always trying to get, you know, some great positive vibes out. John is a fantastic dude. Trying to find people like John is like needles in a haystack, right? In terms of community managers, people that are hard and fair. They'll get the banhammer out. Don't get me wrong, but they'll also be fair. You know, so if you come in all the time with negativity, they'll hoof you out. But if you come in with genuine questions and you bring in positivity and, you know, innovation and great questions to a community, he will be more than fair with you. But finding them is very difficult. And we've been talking about this and saying, you know, when you go and look for these people in these roles, most people are like, are just looking on the upside. I just want the tokens every month. I don't give a crap really about the project. I'll be your number one fan. I'll be your number one fan. Just pay me however many tokens a month, and I can. And we're not like that. You know, we've set up our camp. You know, our family is like, you know, Interstellar and Lumenswap and Rabbit and Drift and Dogstar. You know, part of our weird dysfunctional family at the moment. They're coming to us as well as a friend. And I think, you know, we go where we say, well, we think that these projects are going to bring some value to the wider Stellarverse. And we don't do it because here's a bundle full of tokens and cash. It's because I think these projects are exciting, they're innovating, you know, Norbears, of course, and all the stuff that they're doing as well. You know, it's, for me, that's where the integrity is. And then you come in, and if you like with Lumenswap, I mean, I came in as an ambassador. Just at a low, like, kind of just, okay, I'll, you know, I said to Vlad, you know, I make some videos. I haven't really got much of a following, but I'm passionate. And if I believe in something, I'll believe in it. And I do some educational courses and this, that, and the other. Maybe I can help you. Oh, you can come as an ambassador. Then that kind of evolves because I'm so passionate about Lumenswap. It's evolved. And now I'm almost his right-hand man in terms of, he will come to me and consult me on a lot of big Lumenswap decisions. And I went from just, you know, working my ass off, but coming in and trying to educate people rather than thinking, because I wasn't getting paid a crap ton, right? Back in those days, I wasn't getting paid a crap ton to do anything. So yeah, I think that's where the shilling and the, shilling is, here's $100. Go and shill on every single Twitter post you can find that's got the yield farming hashtag or something. There's a difference in that, trying to educate, make videos and stuff. And I know you're only messing about, but there are genuine people out there that will just constantly troll for fun. And it doesn't do the whole Stellar ecosystem any favors at all. In fact, it's probably like a negative. I mean, I stopped someone earlier on and said, you got to stop FUDing. It wasn't in the Lumenswap thread, but it was in another thread. I said, you've got to stop FUDing. This isn't classified as FUD. I said, FUD is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. If you're doubting the team, if you're saying you're uncertain about what the team are doing, you're FUDing. And I said, then, just like anything in life, something positive happens, it's okay. If something negative happens, there's a crowd of 100 round, isn't there? All wanting to see what the negative thing is. So it can, something innocuous, I'm not getting my words out right, but something that's very low key, right? And it doesn't really seem to have any meaning to you because it's just a simple comment. But that can have a devastating effect on new people reading it, can't it? And they can go, oh, this project's done this or that. And then like, 10 comments down, sorry, got my wires crossed, but the damage is done. The damage is done. So it's just people being mindful of their use of the English language on different projects threads. I think it's a good lesson to take away from tonight. I really do, especially as we're fighting every day for Stellar to be getting more and more promotion and to get highlighted and to get better projects coming here. It doesn't take much for the little trigger of that FUD to spread and all that hard work to be undone. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And the FUD comments you were talking about earlier, the person even got the numbers wrong. It wasn't even the right numbers they were using. But it spreads. It's not good for a project. We want to all build together. And when you have these teams putting their heart into it and people are just leaving bullshit comments, oh, I wish you would have done this. Oh, why aren't you doing this? It's like, God, these projects are new. These projects are less than a year old. They're still building. Some of these projects have only been around for a month or two. And it takes time. So just continue to watch us build and continue to support, and you will be rewarded for it. It's for being in the community, for staying engaged. And it's not just on the community managers and the ambassadors. If there's a good project, the community has to step up and they have to support as well and tell people and get people in.
Yeah, I think that's another thing. I mean, Sachizi and I were talking about psychology of communities and going quite deep into quite a cool conversation actually, and what makes us do the things that we do and all this kind of stuff. And we were saying, yeah, I mean, when you look at, say, like, crypto communities, for one, I was using the me being on the ambulance service, right? That was my career before crypto, well, a long time before crypto, but I spent 10 years as a paramedic on frontline ambulances, dealing with huge amounts of different emergency situations, right? And in that role, it was like you could save lives day in, day out, like 12 jobs a shift. So you got to 12 different patients or more, and you just do that day in, day out, saving lives, right? Kids, old people, adults, traumatic injuries, illnesses. You do one bad thing, all the life saving is forgotten about. You probably wouldn't even get a card or something, you probably wouldn't even get someone buy you a beer or nothing, right? Just forgotten about. You get one bad thing, you're tired, you're not thinking straight, you've got problems with money or a wife, or you're going through a divorce, you've got something going on in your head, and you make a mistake on the job, never forgotten for your whole career. Never forgotten, right? It lives with you for your whole career because you made that one slip. And you think that's human error. These people are in a high stress environment, jobs. They're going to make a mistake from time to time. You can't get rid of it. It sticks with you. And then you think about this. So going back to the FUD and these comments, you think a team is trying to deliver all of the time, like them jobs on the ambulance service. The community are like, I'm becoming a little bit fatigued with all this good stuff. And the one thing, even if it's a reward, the algorithm glitches and it doesn't pay a reward, or there's something that happens, it's immediately scam. they've run off with that scam. And there's 100 people who never comment. They appear out of it almost like flies to dog shit, right? They appear out of nowhere. You think this person's not commented for 3 months, and then all of a sudden they must just watch for the glitch, and then they're in. And you think that is crazy in crypto, isn't it? There is hordes of people who will bring zero value, and they've probably got 5 like LSP or 5 drift, you know what I mean, in the bottom of some old wallet that they've got. Or maybe none. Maybe they're not invested at all. Maybe they set up a trust line, that's it. But there will be the loudest voices. And that seems to be a real inherent cancer within crypto, that you have that where because there are scammers and because there are a lot of people thinking get rich quick, it attracts this weird bunch of people who just want to just hammer, not even give you the benefit of the doubt. They want to be on you like a stack of bricks. You know, Lumenswap is a prime example of this. People are more interested in trying to find out Vlad's identity and, you know, the top tier team's identity than they are the cool projects that they've built and the tools that we all use on a daily basis. And people will invest hours and hours and hours trying to find out who the developers are at Lumenswap, rather than thinking, who cares? This is a great project. I just want to use it, and it's really, really good for me, and it's profitable. Crazy, isn't it?
It's madness. It's crypto, though. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have PTSD. You see stuff going on in the crypto markets. You just saw with Time what happened with them. But you got to look at the projects. You got to look at the people who are running the projects. You got to look at their track records, and you got to take everything in consideration, what they've already built so far in a short amount of period of time, how they're making sure to get community feedback. It all has to be factored in before you start spreading FUD, before you start automatically blaming and making a witch hunt out of stuff.
Boateng, I think that's it. That's your name. I do apologize if it's wrong. He's asked Harley, what's going on to Time?
Oh, well, with Time, I'm not completely aware, but one of their CFO, he pulled a whole bunch of money out of the treasury, I believe, so he wouldn't get liquidated in the downpour. But that created a lot of havoc, as you can imagine, because it was supposed to be a multi-sig wallet. There was supposed to be multiple people who approved that to be taken out. And they had a really strong community, and that community pretty much collapsed after that.
Yeah, I mean, these kind of things, I mean, that's, you know, it's very, very, very difficult to try and navigate these kind of choices and not have a massive fallout. You know, I mean, it's one of the reasons why, I mean, we've taken a little bit, you know, of a wave or a tsunami of questions in Drift, why we invested funds from the start into artists, into other projects such as Rabbit, right? Because for us, sustainability is absolutely crucial. For Drift to still be able to build strong through a down market is true testament of like, we're building the right way, because we haven't like gone and blow, you know, all of our investments in, say, oh, let's all the team just take, you know, 10, 15 grand each, and then we can all just hoop and holler, and it doesn't matter if the project does anything. We're all like, no, let's make sure that we create this sustainable. So next Christmas, we're still rocking and rolling, and we're still, you know, as one of the top stellar projects. We're still, you know, got a liquid token, and we're doing well. We don't, but you have to take that action right out of the gates. Do you know what I mean? You need to be saying straight away, as soon as you've launched, right, let's protect our funds and let's ring fence these for future market volatility. And I just think some projects are like, we haven't even given that a second thought. They will just launch and think everything's going to be cool, and they haven't even thought that through. So yes, it's an interesting conversation tonight. It's an interesting conversation. Hello to Lemon. She's been moving. Lemon has been moving again, and she's still contributing to all of the communities. I've seen you popping up here, there, and everywhere with JPEG stuff you're doing, and popping in those little cool videos that you're doing to Lumenswap. So thank you for doing all the stuff that you do, Lemon. It's greatly appreciated. I hope, put in the comments, is this place now going to be cool for a few months? Are you settled, or are you having to shift again in a few weeks' time? I'm hoping that this is a good move for you and you're in there for a little while. So let us know in the comments. Right, guys. I just want to lastly touch on a couple of things that are going on externally. So what we're going to see is we're going to see the end of the rabbit auction. That is going to be on Tuesday at 1400 UTC. So if we take 5 off that, it's going to be 9 o'clock in the morning, I believe, Eastern Standard Time, Central 8. I don't know what the Pacific time is. But then across Europe, it's going to be 3 in the afternoon, and over in Asia, it's going to be night time. Okay, so it's fair. It's a fair time to finish. We can all get in on this end of the rabbit. Or then a few days later, we're going to see this listing. Someone's asked in the comments that what price is the listing. I don't think that they're going to do a listing price on exchanges until such a time as we know the end of auction price and the listing price on the SDEX. Does that make sense? If we don't know what price we're going to trade at the first point, we're not going to be able to pick a price, are we, for trading on exchanges, because it could be way too high or way too low, and then it creates a whole crap ton of problems. I think what needs to happen is we need to trade. The price needs to settle. Then they would say to the exchanges, this is what price we're going to list at, which is roughly in correlation somewhere to the price on the SDEX. Hope that kind of makes sense. But we're going to see this in the first week. So up until, I think the last one is the 7th. Maybe it's the 5th. But the centralized exchange listings for Rabbit are going to be 5th, 7th, around that period of time. When you're going to be able to trade assets there. Again, as I said earlier on to a couple of people in the comments, I recommend using the SDEX at all times. If you are just not trying to arb trade or trying to be technical, if you're just looking to get hold of assets, the most liquidity to start off with is going to be with Rabbit on the SDEX. And of course, you people that are buying Rabbit at auction and you get them filled, you can then, as Harley said, you can then start making those into liquidity pools, or you could add to the liquidity pool, should I say, Rabbit, USDC, Rabbit, XLM. And then at the end of February, you will be getting rewards based on that. So that's another option available. So there's a lot to cram in to this next couple of days with Lumenswap / Rabbit auction and everything that's going to be happening. I'm not going to fill your head with too much more tonight, because I think that that's enough for you to really be focusing on. We can then start next week. I think we're going to start bringing regular guests right onto the show, and people that will be able to tell us more about different projects. I've got a very good friend of mine who is bringing Interstellar. Okay, I know, I'm going to put it on Twitter in a minute. I know when Interstellar's sale is, right? So I'm going to tell you that in a second on Twitter when this show finishes. Interstellar's going to be coming. We're going to get them on board. They're going to be also doing an airdrop, right? 2-3 groups of people. There's going to be an airdrop that, excuse me, that's going to be going out to Lumenswap, right? So if you hold LSP tokens, yeah, you are going to be eligible to be getting your hands on some of these. Details will be forthcoming. I'm not going to be taking any shine off them. They will be telling us more about how we can do that. The second group is for you drifters. If you've got drift and you hit certain criteria, you're going to be able to get ISX tokens as well, right? So Interstellar is going to be airdropping to Lumenswap, to drift holders, and if you are a sewerling, so if you are part of Norbear's sewers, and you're a bear holder and you've made your way into the sewers and you've got a sewerling NFT, you will also be eligible for this ISX airdrop. So that's really exciting. It's only going to be a few weeks before they appear. And that's going to be something that I think will work really well as part of this family I spoke about earlier on, family of different projects on Stellar. So that's very exciting with UFOs and aliens. If you're into all that sort of thing, you're going to really enjoy what they're going to be bringing to the table. So with the end of the auction, there's a whole new methodology launching tomorrow with Drift, and that we're going to be allowing you to be doing all sorts of funky ass stuff. If you don't know about that, head across to the Drift socials as well and find out what's happening as of tomorrow. And then we also have, what else do I have up my sleeve? I don't know. I've got something else. I've forgotten what it is. There's that much that's going on. So plug in to all of those channels. Make sure that you are keeping tabs on my Bullring Crypto Twitter videos and everything. And I will give you more information as and when it becomes available. But the launch date for the token for Interstellar, I will put on in a short minute or two. Lastly, the legacy jokers, the NFTs that are going to have the most future value on all of the Stellar NFT network. One is going up for sale in a moment, in a 3-hour auction. It's going up for sale. This is the last one for January. At the start of February, there is the Gangsters Paradise game beginning. So we're just 2 days away from that. This is the last Joker going up for sale. If you want to get your hands and be in the extreme crew and get your hands on a legacy Joker, tonight is your last opportunity in January. So there's a hell of a lot I'm juggling here, right? And all of these things are super important to you people that love Stellar and love all the projects that are building on top of it. Anything else from besides the draw? Anything else from you, Glow? If you need to let us know anything's going on.
I'm just excited for Interstellar. That I love aliens. I think that project's going to be sick. Is it Infinite Villains that does the artwork on it?
Yeah.
I think the artwork looks crazy. The capabilities for combining NFTs and also the war chest and everything they got on, that's going to definitely be something to look out for. And especially since they're doing the airdrop for Lumenswap, for Knobbears, and for Drifters, it's just, you can't beat that. So I'm just excited for that. And let's not forget our giveaway.
Yeah, our giveaway. We're going to it now. I'm going to stop sharing. Let's stop sharing that. Let's share. Who's going to be our lucky 1,000 LSP winner tonight? Let's have a look. Okay. New York was the words you needed to put in. And let's share. We've got 51 entries tonight. We're going up week on week. We seem to be growing these. Okay, let's go for it. Good luck, everyone. I hope that you're successful. And the 1,000 LSP winner is about to be drawn. Let's go.
Let's see who gets it.
Chan won. Yes, well done. I don't think you've won anything from us, have you? So I think that's nice. It's well done. Congratulations. If you connect with me on Twitter, probably is the best way. Drop a message or just tag me in something in the next half an hour. And yeah, I will get that 1,000 LSP organized. I'll get your address. Just tag me and post your public address, your Stellar address, and then I'll get that. Or just tag me in one of the threads, yeah, in Lumenswap thread or something, and then you can just drop me the address, whatever works best for you. Glow, as always, thank you, mate. Not just for tonight's show, but thank you for everything you do, because I know how much you do behind the scenes as well for all of the different projects, Lumenswap and Drift, and all the cool projects that I'm involved in, and you're really helpful. So once again, thanks, mate. Let's have a really, really strong February. Let's hope the market turns and the excitement returns, and lots of all this stuff that's coming down the track turns out to be really popular for everyone, eh?
I agree. Thank you for everything you do too. You do a lot for this community. I don't think people realize or respect everything you do, but let's put in for a good February.
Let's do it. Good night, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll speak to you, if not before, next week at the same time. Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.
Cheers.